Altitude 10 meters.
Hey Nav, can you zoom in my sonar? One click, please.
I absolutely can. I'll zoom in both of y'all sonars here right now.
Thank you. All right, winch is stopped. Sirius has 18 altitude.
Excellent.
The delta of 16.
I'm just letting the current blow me back to a good position here.
Yeah.
Okay, I have camera platform sonar at 80 meters, and I have D2s at 50 meters.
Okay.
Can you, one more click for me, please?
Okay, 50 meters?
Yeah, please. Thank you.
Okay, and I'm going to change the gain on, or the...
I'm Patty Fryer. I'm
you like
the
it right there,
science
pilot?
lead for
That's
geology.
perfect. Thank
And half a day, those of you in Guam, aloha. Those of you in Hawaii, and hello, the mainland USA. We are diving on
Right. I'm going to just
the
get
seamount
accustomed to where the current
Farallon
is set up, and then we can start white balance if you want to get the HPU on and everything.
Yep, copy that.
And we'll
Nailing
be
HPU.
diving along a ridge that extends from about 527 meters to about 497 meters today. And if you're watching at home, what you can do is look at a variety of different screens that are available to you.
Yeah, that's just a few seconds,
back
right?
and forth between images
Yeah, you can go ahead and do
you
that.
can see. You can also see into the lab here on the Okeanos Explorer and take a look at us.
Video's
if
just
you
camping
like.
and checking black
if you
balance
do,
real quick.
you will see a
Okay.
very silly hat that's sitting on the head of your lead scientist because it's my birthday. And I'm really stoked to be out here to have a birthday present of being able to look at the ocean floor. What the submersible is doing right now that you're seeing on the main screen is that we have just reached a depth deep enough for us to see the
Okay, it
ocean
seems like,
floor
yeah,
for
the
the first
current's
time.
coming from about my
And for those of
heading
you who've
right
never
now.
been in a submersible
Okay.
or looked through
so it's
the
still coming out
video
of
of
the
an
south a little bit.
ROV,
Yeah, is
what
that
you're
not what
seeing now
I saw it going
is something that
from
nobody
north to
has
south.
ever put their
not
eyes
from
on
south to north.
before. Every time
But
we
definitely
dive
saw
in
that
a
from
s-
east
a
to west.
submersible or an ROV,
Or I'm sorry,
we
west
are
to east.
exploring the face basically of
Okay,
a new
so we
planet.
got HPU on.
This is inner space, folks, and we're going to have a great time.
Yes.
The pilots
Yeah, I'll just hover
are
here using my
stabilizing
so I'll just go
the
into autos.
vehicle right now.
All right.
They
I'll wrap up
will
HPU.
be orienting it for just a couple minutes before we get started
The
moving.
video.
And,
Are you,
what
I'm going
you
to
can
get
see
the Shilly in place for white
is
balance.
video from an extremely high-definition video system that the Okeanos Explorer operates from its
All right, the current's appear too
submersible
strong
vehicle.
for
This
my
is a
autos.
remotely operated
Stand by,
vehicle, and you
co-pilot.
might hear us
Yeah, standing by.
discussing things related to the ROV. That's
Yeah, I'll
what
just
that
have to
stands
hover.
for. And we will be exploring the seafloor on this dive to take a look at the distribution of what are called precious corals. These are commercially important
Okay, you
corals.
can start.
Black corals, pink corals, red corals. That's probably what I'm going to be calling them because I am, by training, a geologist, and I really think
Yes,
it's great
everyone.
that what we're looking at right now are rocks.
Oh.
Rocks are fabulous. So that's what you're going to hear me saying.
Yeah, I just saw it.
Oh, really? Okay, wow. Okay.
So move position of the lights when it cuts out.
Of the camera, right? Yeah.
Okay.
Seems to come back on its own too, though.
Yeah. All right. It did not
Right, we
move.
will. This is Patty
When it
again.
cut black and I touched joystick.
I'm going to bug Shirley a minute because although the rocks are beautiful, there are a bunch of animals sitting down
Ooh.
there, and I think one of them might be a sponge. And Shirley is probably the world's
Okay.
expert on sponges.
Okay, so there it is on.
It's hard to say.
Yeah. It's so
What's
brief
the
when it
white
cuts out.
thing,
Charlie,
right?
yeah.
Kind of in the middle of the screen. Shirley, could you see that?
Go ahead, Deb.
Hey, just letting you know that we are on bottom,
For how
and the
long?
plan still sits at 180.
Oh.
Good copy. 180 bailout. Thank you.
Okay.
The pilots are stabilizing the submersible, and you may see
Yeah,
the
I can
arm,
mess with
the
this, Copilot, if
mechanical
you want
arm
to,
of the vehicle come out. It
continue.
will be
Yeah.
holding a little
Okay.
card that has colors on it. There's another card that's black and white, and they're going to be
So
checking
which,
the color balance
which fiber
and
is that one on?
the brightness balance,
It's on
so
the same
that
one as the,
we'll be able
all
to
the columns,
identify
right?
the real colors that we're seeing on the seafloor.
Okay. So nav on high
So
current
here
is like
comes
this
the
number to make
mechanical
sure
arm
to track
with
Sirius's
the
position and make sure
color
Sirius
balance
isn't moving
card
with the
on it.
current. Like
So
that
that'll
first
swing
day
forward,
Copilot.
and we'll be taking a look at those
Pilot,
colors
can I
and
take your
adjusting
camera?
them
Yes.
to
You mean that
Excellent.
Sirius
be
is
identical
aimed
to what
into
we
the
can
current?
see
No, that
in
Sirius
daylight.
isn't moving without the ship moving.
This is important
Oh, okay.
because
You just keep watching me.
you
Because
know,
the current is going to take it a little bit.
what we're looking at
No,
that
I do,
is
but you have to know where
actually
it's going.
on
Like,
your
like
video
I've been
screen
watching
is
the
lit
same rock,
by the
but all of a
lights
sudden
from the vehicle.
I feel like I'm getting
of course,
farther away
and
to the right.
there is no
So I have a
light
feeling
at
that
these
Sirius
kinds
is
of
actually being
depths.
blown a little
I've
bit.
been in submersibles,
I'm
and
gonna kinda back up and
the
head that
Alvin
way.
submersible from the Woods Hole Oceanographic Institution
So just
and the
you know, as you do ship,
Shinkai
we tend to assume that
6500.
Sirius is
Shinkai
fixed to
means
the ship
deep
and
sea.
XY, but
That's the
as you remember
Japanese
from your first
submersible
Copilot
from
experience, it can do odd things.
Jamstech, the
Copy that.
Japanese technical group in
Just something to remember.
Yokosuka that have designed
Let me
a
get some light.
6,500 meter
On
capability
this.
submersible.
Oh,
So I got to
swim
ride in
arm.
that as well. The cool thing really is, you know, if you're in the Alvin, they have a port, a plexiglass window basically right above your head, and this is in the hatch that you climb through to get down into the sub.
Video. When you get
So
a chance, if you want
it's got
zoom in
basically a
on main
window up
HD.
there, and as you're ascending after your dive, you
Is it
can
too
look up
bright?
through
Do you
that
want to
thing, and it isn't until about
adjust?
your
Okay, you have
300
it. I'm just
meters
going to bring the other swing arm
deep.
over.
That's a little over 600 feet that you begin to see a pale blue color in the water above you. Once you're down below that sort of depth, everything's pretty dark, you know.
Okay, so what we're doing right now is just performing a white balance. The pilot is getting us set up, and video is getting us set up, so we're just going to do beautiful imagery for which this program is known. As for those of you who are just joining us, this is our first dive of Flight 3, and we are diving on
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Capping the camera, checking the blocks.
precious corals that are of commercial importance. The site hasn't been documented and explored before, so our goal is to explore this area, document the occurrence of precious
Copilot, I'm just going to sit down here and move myself a little closer because I think Sirius is blowing around a bit.
It's hard to see on high pack what it's doing because it's going back and forth. But
Yeah.
on cameras, you can see it much easier.
Go ahead, survey 1. Okay. So that's obviously one of the 2 fibers.
Precious coral fisheries are managed fishery on Commonwealth Islands. As I mentioned before, there have been precious coral beds identified here to date. There have only been some accounts, anecdotal accounts, that have been published about their presence in this region of the Pacific.
I have it up on my GUI if you want to look.
Okay, so again, I've just heard from Deb that we're not hearing me at all. Let's try this again. Okay,
We tilt.
We good
just a
now?
little bit.
Yeah, sorry, video.
okay, there I am. Okay, good.
Yes, Shirley, you're coming in loud and clear now.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Before we weren't even hearing you on
Video's
the
happy with
telephone
that?
Okay,
line.
got it. Thank you.
Rotate
Okay.
for HD2.
So again, we're getting set up for video. We've just done white balance.
Pilot, can I take your
The
mini-Zs?
pilot and
Sure.
co-pilot
Done with the
are
main one?
getting situated on the bottom for
Okay, let me
D2
give it back.
and Sirius. We are exploring this site
tilt yours
today
yeah.
because of its potential to have precious corals. And the precious coral fishery is one that
Alright,
is
good
a
spot. I'm gonna
managed
switch
fishery
over to,
by Guam and the Commonwealth of the
HD.
Northern Mariana Islands. There has been some
Now I'm gonna balance
anecdotal
the, ROV
information
camera.
about the presence of precious
Can be seen
corals
in the
in this
quad split.
area, but no documented occurrence. And so we are targeting this dive to explore the area to determine if there are, in fact, precious corals. We are a little bit deep for bottom fisheries, so our focus is going to be primarily on the precious coral fauna and other invertebrates in this area. So we'll be documenting the invertebrate communities and the geology of the area.
Sticking a little for the shilling
Yeah.
for rotate.
Do you have the pressure all the way up? There you go. Yeah, it wouldn't move at all on the deck, but that was only 1500 psi.
And pilot, you just let us know when you're ready to begin.
Yep, and we're now focusing.
We'll do watch
right
leave,
balance
just got
and
one
right
more minute.
balance in the HD2 camera, which can be seen in the quad split.
Before
So
we
right
begin,
now
we'll
we're
go ahead and
seeing
do the
several
introductions.
yellow
Do-
fans,
I'm afraid trust your
corals,
quick
octocorals.
Video.
That's what all of those yellow
It's crazy. I have
fan-shaped things are
55%
in
down,
the
and it's not
video
enough to lock
frame.
me into the bottom.
Wow.
Normally you can do like just
Oh,
a couple
sorry,
more.
video.
All right, I'm working with that.
I think.
Is that
it's
fine to work
doable
with?
Here,
Yes, it is.
Now that
Okay.
we're kind of in the shadow.
There may be some of
small
these
video
we're
are
seeing
above
some.
board,
but
Yep, go ahead.
perhaps when we get up to the very top, it's going to be too bad. So we might
The
have
small
to stay
fish
on the
that are
side.
on the bottom are green eyes. They're relatives of the shallow water lizard fish, a different family but same order, same habits.
Okay, video's happy with that.
All right. I will stow the shilling.
Excellent.
Okay, the white balance has been completed on the ROV HD1 and ROV HD2 cameras, and the pilot's going to stow the arms, and we'll be ready to survey.
Okay. So for those of you who are calling in on the phone line, we can recognize your voices pretty well, but just for others from the public who are watching, if you could just briefly say, this is Bruce, or this is Scott, this is Steva. Diva, your voice is pretty easy to recognize, but if you can just identify yourselves, at least initially, so that we
Do you
know
want me to
who's
follow
saying
you
what.
on,
Thank you.
Mazes?
Sure, if you want to.
So the Titan hasn't flipped out in the past few minutes.
I have not seen it. I haven't touched it. I'm going to zoom in on it now and see what it gives me.
Okay.
So this is an interesting substrate for the geological.
Your mic's not open.
Okay, go ahead.
This is an interesting substrate from a geological point of view. Very slabby looking, kind of thin layered material sitting on the seafloor. Some of it's kind of a brownish color, and there are some black rocks. Well, that's pretty obvious, right, to the view.
Video while he's doing that, I want to zoom on this.
What we can expect to see in areas like this are broken up fragments of either
Video pilot.
perhaps lava flows
While he's
that
stowing, I wanna
have
zoom on this
erupted
urchin.
as the volcano formed. And the
Oh, just as I
the
say that,
difference
I
in
got
the
blown back a little.
colors may very well indicate that the black is
Tilting up.
at least a thin coating of
There we go.
manganese incrustation, manganese oxide incrustation that forms as a consequence of, we think, biological activity. There's that fish.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we're seeing in this an urchin. Chris Kelly thinks it might be a siderid or a pedinid. So for those of you in the general public, you're going to learn some scientific names. We're going to try and give you some common names as much as possible. So this is an urchin. Bruce Monday from Hawaii already
Alright,
identified
that's pretty good.
this
Did you move one of the
fish.
swing arms around?
Let
I
me
do
see where
both
I
then.
can
I
find
can
that
move that now.
there.
Yeah, please do.
Called it green
let's see,
eyes.
Port is going left.
I can't see the eyes right now.
That's because it's hiding from us.
All right.
Beautiful.
Video's clear with this.
Either he's hiding from us or he's checking out that sea urchin.
All right, you can go wide video.
Oh, there's some crab crawling along.
Got a
Okay,
crab.
Right.
so
Got
also
a
what you can
Sirius back
see
up there.
on some of these octocorals or the sea fans, some green wispy stuff.
Where
That
did I
green
go?
wispy stuff
trying to
stuff
escape on
is
your left side.
Oh,
could be
hold on,
algae. It looks like it's
so
fouling
while we were
by
doing that,
algae.
Sirius did
And
move.
even though we're
They were
at
underneath.
It looks like it's
500 and
underneath, yeah, so
almost
we gotta,
530 meters,
It looks
the
like
light
people are
penetration
looking
is
for the
pretty
light,
good.
but
So
Hold on.
this
Video,
is
we're,
these
reorienting
algae
here.
are
So where did
are
Sirius
alive,
go?
I
not
have my
dead.
fish eye, so you're
Yeah, so I have to go.
Could we, at some point, do
Not
a
too
zoom
far,
on one
so
of
I have
these
to go to
colonies
port, correct?
that has the algae on it?
Roger that.
yes.
All right. So basically, I have to-
Pilot, if you could please zoom
stand
in on
by
one
what-
of the sea
what-
fans that have algae
What?
on them.
Watch lead, stand by. It's a very high current.
We're
still
going to
not
stand by
oriented.
just for a moment and get in a good position
Okay,
to do
hold on.
that.
Before I move here. Oh, I see. You spun around.
If he goes back towards the ship, towards the after the ship, you should
I'm fighting.
see him.
I'm at 90 fighting.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Settle
while
current.
while they're doing that, we've got a few of us
Yeah, so I'll just
sitting in the
back
back
up
row
here.
here
I'll
in
do-
the
I'll go
ROV
do,
control room.
do
So
east,
besides
just back.
Patty Fryer
And then it should
and myself,
relax
who are
your,
the science leads, we have Jim Newman, who is the ROV supervisor,
Coming up.
and we have Tara, who's doing some video
Okay.
cutting. Is that what it is?
Yeah,
Video
you're
cutting,
centering
video
that.
editing, so we can bring you these
Should've
beautiful
relaxed to let you come
highlight
see me.
videos at the end of each day.
Yeah, I look
We have
straight
several
down,
other people
so-
in the room,
Yeah, so now
and of
that's
course in the
exactly
front
what I was
row
talking
are
about.
the
Yeah.
team of
All right.
ROV
Yeah,
operators,
good.
navigator, pilot,
While we were
co-pilot,
distracted, Sirius
videographer,
moved
who are
backwards.
making this
Got
dive
out of view.
possible, along with the excellent positioning skills of our ship's crew
pilot.
up on the bridge.
All right, so you stay there.
And just
I
to
will,
let you folks know
come back into
that
port.
maneuvering this system of ROV and the Sirius that sits above
Yes,
it
everyone?
and the ship is a lovely ballet of aquatic superbity. We are going
All right.
to be moving the ship, which is attached to Sirius, which is the vehicle that sits about 30 on a tether about 30 meters long above the ROV. So what has to happen is that in order for the ROV to traverse a great distance across the seafloor, what is needed is that we have to move the ship
Is that I have to
in the direction the ROV wants to go, move
going.
Sirius in that same direction,
Appears to be
and then the ROV
kind of from the
itself
southwest.
can move forward. We have to give it enough slack on the tether that's attached to the ship to be able to get it to move in whatever direction the scientists on shore have asked us to run the track across the seafloor. So sometimes it takes a little bit of maneuvering, you know, to get us to leave a certain spot, because maybe the ROV is straight out in front of the Sirius vehicle, which sits above it, and therefore the tether is really taut, you know, so we have to wait a few minutes for the ship to move and Sirius to move to get over the ROV. That's the nature of work with remotely operated vehicles. If you are in a submarine, you don't have a tether attached to you to the ship that is your mothership, and you can just kind of go wherever you want.
Okay, so what we're seeing now in the video screen are a lot of white encrusting things. Those are sponges. We're also seeing another kind of octocoral, so maybe an orange octocoral. And as soon as we get situated, we'll go ahead and zoom in on at least the two different octocorals that we've seen, the yellow one and the orange one, as well as the white sponge that's encrusting. I can't tell from here if it's a demo sponge or a hexactinellid. Hexactinellid sponges are ones that are very common in deeper water, but we're shallow enough here that we'd be able to see some demo sponges as well.
And Shirley can't wait to get to those sponges.
Watch lead, pilot.
The morphology of the seafloor is really interesting too.
Yeah.
We have, you can see some sort of flat patches and some...
we need to give
do you copy me, Watch lead?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, we're all situated here.
Pardon us for a
There's a
sec.
very, very strong current, almost to the limit of the ROV.
Okay, pilot, thank you. This is good. If we can just go ahead and zoom in on the one of the white encrusting things, the sponges, please.
Okay, so we'll try to do what we can today, but these shallow dives often have strong current. And
Roger that.
If you see us not going exactly where we'd like, we'll just
back to geology, Shirley?
Yes.
All right, cool. This is my fun part. So those flat patches may very well be the flat portions of lava flows, and then what you're seeing in between them is places where that flat surface cracked as the lava was flowing across the seafloor and kind of oozed out at the surface to make a rougher texture. And this is not something I have seen a lot on the seafloor, so this is pretty exciting. Ooh, and there's a
okay, so we're not
lovely coral.
Yeah, we're not sure. I wonder, can we tell if the black is a sea pen or if it's a black coral? Oh, beautiful. That's nice. Whatever you want.
No,
whatever. That's good. That's good. Okay, so we're zooming in now on a white sponge, white encrusting sponge. Chris, any ideas? To me, this looks more demo sponge than hexactinellid.
Okay.
Yeah, I think this is a demo sponge, and it looks similar to something that we've collected in Hawaii that's been identified to the genus Poecilastra. So that's my best guess, but I totally agree, Shirley, that I think this is a demo sponge.
Okay, so what we're seeing there are the pores. Sponges are filter feeders, and they set up a water current through their body so that they can capture very small microscopic particles. And so all those little pores are what you're part of the water canal system of the sponge.
Shirley, you know, what I'm looking at in the Sirius image is what It appears to
can I
me like
center
these
your-
sponges are sitting on the rough stuff. Do they like
Whatever
to
works
kind
best for
of
you
get
guys.
up off the flat seafloor so
Okay,
that
watch
they
lead, are you
can
clear with the sponge?
get stuff out of the water column?
It depends on the species. So it looks like these. Yes, there are. If you look at the Sirius image, the image from the Sirius down on D2. Yeah, we're finished with the sponge. Thank you.
Okay,
Video
go
good on the
Yep.
Zeus.
And if we can look at the, it looked like there was a black, yes, now on the lower right part of your screen. If we can,
I see it there. We'll get a
Yeah.
zoom on that.
great, thank you. And hopefully we'll be able to tell.
Okay,
And
video,
after that
zoom on
pilot,
the-
after
So
the,
after the black coral, we could look at the orange one to the right of it.
right, that's the plan. We're going to go ahead and work on our way down
yeah,
there.
thanks, Chris. I wanted
Yeah.
to see
Okay,
that
I'll try to
too.
spin
Okay.
without, losing it here.
As we zoom in, it looks like we're going to be seeing a lot of little white,
There we go.
I don't know, long white tubey thingies that
Okay,
might
so-
be from sponges.
So this looks like an octocoral, not, yeah. Oh, is it a black coral, Scott? To me, it looks like an octocoral.
Looks black
Yes,
to me.
that's
It's black coral. Okay, well, yes, it looks black to me too. And on the other side, on the other side of it,
Like there's a tab on it as well.
Yep. And as you can tell, the current is ripping down here. It's just waving these animals that are
Camera's
firmly
on the side
attached to the
for the
bottom.
rest.
It's just really blowing them around. Okay.
Did it go out again?
It looks like it did.
Want to try moving it, Sean?
Yeah.
So Diva thinks that this might be a hexapathes. There are at least a couple of squat lobsters on the backside of this
Co-pilot, can
branching
you get lasers
coral.
on, too?
Yeah, absolutely. Lasers on.
Looks
Now,
kinda
what's
like
interesting
Sirius's.
to me is
Moving back again?
that the attachment
definitely.
point
Yeah.
is
Should drop
down
some
in a
targets that
crack.
we-
Okay.
Does that give
Well-
it more stability?
Well, you can see from how rough this current is, how strong this
Yeah.
current is, that it's
Tight
really
seam with the
gripping.
base.
Right.
Yeah.
Hanging on
Like
for dear life.
Yeah.
Okay.
This looks really similar to one that Diva and Deb, the science leads on leg 1, saw on some of their
All right.
dives. So you can see that
Center.
the base of the black coral now that's very firmly attached in that little crevice. You can also see in the crevice some debris, some rubble. Looks like some shells,
Bio-rubble.
bio-rubble. So mollusk shells.
And what are the long tubes, like the one at the far left of?
Yeah, it looks like a mollusk. Well, looks like a mollusk tube of some sort.
Want to get this little lobster video? Or, sorry, it's not a lobster.
That's a brittle star
Brittle
on the
star,
right.
Yeah, brittle star on the lower. Is that brittle star on the lower right? Yep. Okay.
There's brittle star in the lower left
All right.
too. Or
Watch lead if you're happy. We'll go
Yep.
wide
Okay.
and move
Yep.
on.
We're good. Thank you.
Okay.
Roland, you got the video that you need.
We do.
Okay. Great.
if we could go take a
So
look at
tight
that
back,
orange
and
one
it does
now.
look like
Yep.
you can control
Would
it.
it be orange?
They zoomed all the way
And
in.
once again,
When it was
they
black,
like the
when
rough
it came out,
rocks.
it was zoomed all the way in.
Gotcha.
So at least you have zoom function when it's black.
Interesting. Okay, watch lead. Anything else in this view, or should we move on?
We want to say again.
Is there anything else in this view, or should we move on?
We want to see that orange
Okay.
fan. The orange octocoral, please. So some of the rubble that we might be seeing, the biological rubble, that sediment might be sea urchin spines as well.
Sirius is on the move a little bit more again.
Okay, I might get pulled back again. Huh?
Yeah.
At least
sure.
I know she's moving due east, correct?
No, not due east. It's a little south as well.
Okay.
On your command.
Okay, video. We're good.
okay, we're
Okay.
just getting in position to zoom. Here we
Copilot,
go.
can you unlatch EXW2 from me?
The two
don't
red
wanna keep
dots that
talking in
you
your ear,
see
but
on the
I can't let go.
screen are 10
Yeah.
centimeters apart.
I can get it from over
That's
here,
about 4 inches. Those are laser beams that we use for
Okay.
scale. when we're observing things.
Done.
Thank you.
I am waiting for Chris on shore in
rotate left.
Hawaii to say something about this.
Scott, University of Louisiana, Lafayette. Scott Francelli. It's a bamboo coral.
All right.
Probably the genus Okeanos, and I'm trying to see what's in the branches.
Yeah, it's looking like it. Yeah, it looks like it's some kind of a. It looks like it's some kind of a crab.
What we've seen before.
Full zoom.
All right.
And you can see it's really well. Yeah, it's well
really
camouflaged.
Large keylip, those the arms with the claws. I haven't seen any crab
Yeah,
like that
I'm
before.
going to rotate slightly port to the
Wow.
side a little.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it's camouflaged
Just
in there. We
bobbing back
could,
and forth
we
with
really
the
didn't
kite.
even see it until we got close up.
Should we move Sirius closer to me, maybe? Once she's aimed. Move
So
like
this
10
is
meters
our
that way.
first
Yeah.
discovery of
Yeah.
unique
Try to
species,
center.
maybe.
10 meters at a 285, you're thinking?
Once his
Wow.
headings, yeah, it should be
And
about
what's
285.
nice from a mission standpoint is that's what's considered a precious coral, this particular bamboo. So
yeah,
we've
pretty good.
already, right off the bat,
280.
documented one of the species of precious corals.
Sean,
That's
can you get
right.
lasers off?
All these bamboo corals are, to me, Chris.
Lasers off.
Get
Bridge,
several
RV
seconds
nav.
of this.
Sure.
Yeah, we're getting
Go
some
ahead.
good video documentation now
Of 10 meters
of this
at
bamboo coral
280
and
0 decimal 2 knots,
the
please.
now. Tara
move
Hammer
10
Luke seems to
meters
think that
during
this might
280
be
speed, 0.2.
a different type
You
of
got it.
squat lobster. Is that right, Tara?
Okay, watch lead. Anything else in this frame?
Again, you can see how strong the current is down here. That
Move initiated now.
Copy.
Watch lead, pilot.
Pilot,
Okay.
this is watch lead number 1, and
Excellent.
I think that's good.
Okay.
Thank you,
So
pilot.
I can't, with all this current, I can't take my hands off the sticks, so I can't talk and untalk to you. So you'll
I've
just
been
have to listen
noticing
to
a
me.
lot of squat lobsters
Okay.
Unless you always want to
on the
hear
bottom.
the,
Thank you,
That'll
pilot.
probably get annoying.
I believe I've seen maybe 3 different
If you listen
species
to me,
already. This
in the
one that's
background.
in the coral, and at least 2
All right.
different ones that have been
Anything else
crawling
in this
around
view?
just in the time we've been settling here.
okay, pilot. If we can also get close to one of the yellow sea fans, yellow octocorals, and get some good video of that,
All
please.
right, I'll scoot over there.
Yeah, it looks like the corals also seem to prefer sitting on that rough, textured seafloor. Just there's almost nothing on the smooth stuff.
So yeah, and again, able to kind of reach up and capture those
Yeah.
particles, the zooplankton that they feed on.
So they look for the local highs.
Yeah, someone asked why these lobsters and the crustaceans, the different lobsters and shrimp, are hanging out in the corals. That's a good question.
So they can get up high.
Get up high and capture some food.
Right, the higher you are, the better able you are to grab things floating by.
And also, you saw how well camouflaged that other lobster or
lobster
shrimp
in
was.
that image as well.
So it
Yeah,
could also
try
be
to
for
center those
protection.
two.
Yeah, so it looks like on the left-hand side might be
There's a big squat
crinoids, yeah.
lobster. Okay.
Okay, video. Pretty centered there.
Oh, yeah. I remember those from
Up
Lake
and go
One. Those are
left a bit.
crinoids. And they are grabbing onto
pilot,
that
looks like,
sponge.
ship
You
is
can
over
see
there.
the little
That
gripper
was
arms
too.
down on the bottom of the animal. The skinny,
Okay, yeah, that's
unfeathered.
It's better.
Pretty good spot.
Yep, so these crinoids are feather
Yeah.
stars.
And
We'll usually see a couple different kinds. So
Yeah, we'll just
these are
put those
ones
in
that
as
can
we
move
go.
around very freely. They don't have a stalk. There's another kind of sea lily or feather star that grows on a stalk. It too can move around, but very slowly. So sometimes what we find, you'll see associations of brittle stars, of feather stars with sponges, and they are presumably eating things that are on top of the sponges, but some echinoderms actually eat sponges as well. And these are also capturing particles that are in the water column. So the squat lobsters that we saw before is adapted to live in coral branches. Their back legs are hooked.
Lasers
Yep.
one time on this guy.
Okay.
Pulling out.
Shirley, what is that?
That other thing that's
other
waving
thing
in the
that's
background.
Waving like mad.
I don't know, and it's moving around so quickly.
The current
that
is
it's
tremendous.
Yeah, that I.
Maximum zoom.
Anybody,
on the object of the
anybody on shore know what
Follow it.
this little critter is?
Yeah, that's.
I assume it's a critter.
I know.
Yeah.
Kinda looks like
You folks are going to
Sirius
hear me saying
stationary
critter a lot.
here.
That's
I know
don't
rocks.
why, but it
Critters,
is.
not
She's
so
just
much.
going back really slowly. Of course, she can't go back forever.
I'm wondering if it's a little bryozoan colony. It's a little bit hard to see.
Oh,
So
like whipping around like that, really flexible like that.
Pull out for a full specimen.
All right.
If they want that, we can reposition or something.
Do you guys
Okay,
see the
lovely.
tiny amphipod at the base of that crinoid?
An amphipod. The base of the crinoid.
Yeah, right
the
at the base.
amphipod.
To which one?
Bottom right of the on the crinoid.
I didn't read
Right
that.
at like at about the 3 o'clock position at the base of that of the crinoid.
Sort of nestled underneath the base.
There you go. There you go.
Little
Beautiful.
pink guy. I see it. You know, this is just amazing, folks. You get down here and it's just wow, wow, every second. Every second.
Okay.
Okay, that's
Video's
good.
clear.
All right.
Thank
Pulling
you.
out full wire.
Thank you, video.
So you want to look at the crab, squat lobster?
Yep, let's go ahead and pilot if we can just get
Full wire.
positioned so we can look at the squat lobster. Yep, there you go. Thank you.
It's not very squat.
He's a big boy.
Okay, you want to get the lasers video?
Yeah, those lasers are showing us that this guy
With the lasers
is,
off
you know,
Once
Maybe
video's
about-
done.
Oh, okay.
2.5 inches across his body, but
Holding zoom.
Okay, just turning back.
So you can see there are a lot of things that are encrusted on the rock. Yep. So, yeah, again, just as a reminder, Patty mentioned this earlier, but those laser dots that you're seeing are 10 centimeters apart.
that's about 4 inches. A little bit less than 4.
Holding it partial.
Okay.
So the way this works is that the pilots
able
need
to
to get in
stabilize, we wanna get
position,
the horns.
and under a strong current, that's really challenging. They're doing a great job. And then once they're in position, then our videographer, Roland, can zoom in and
Yeah,
get
just have
some
to do what you can, Roland.
closer
Copy that.
images. But it doesn't do them any
Looking
good
for
to
the
do that
horns.
if we're still moving around. So that's why the pilots like to get steady, stable first, so that then
There
the
you
videographer can go in and take some images.
And let them count those
That's-
horns around the shell.
So, yep, what have we got here? Yep.
There's also a small hermit crab on the upper left of the guy's foot.
Folks,
Pulling out for full
if you want
specimen.
to take a look at the
Holding.
video feed from Sirius, you can
Good
see
look
the
at the
terrain
lobster.
that the ROV is sitting in. And right now, it is shadowing the ridge that all of these
The video's
animals
clear with this.
are using for their, you
Go
know, I want to get as high as possible to filter all of this current to get my breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And it shows a almost a step-like
Wanna
topography
get the small
in
one on the right,
front
since we're
of
here?
the remotely operated vehicle. the ROV.
We're going to get the small lobster on the right as well, since we haven't imaged it.
Okay, roger that.
We're going to take a look at that squat lobster on the right as well.
It's maximum zoom.
Yeah, kind of far, but
pretty much this is
what it is.
maximum zoom on that. I'm hearing the pilot saying.
So Mary Wixton had previously identified the squat lobster that we just imaged previously as, and the scientific name is Eumunida. And this one that we're looking at right now is Munida. I imagine that is an order.
Yeah, for folks watching this who are, you know, not in the marine geology scientific community, what we are doing here on the ship is, of course, we're, you know, narrating what we're seeing and we're all excited about it. But the folks who are participating in this from the scientific community all over the world, we have people from Russia, we have people from Japan, yep, right. We've got a community of scientists out there who actually, you know, are at our beck and call, more or less, when we can wake them up, to tell us the details. These are experts in a whole variety of different fields. Everything from the geology we're looking at to the biology, and Shirley is communicating with them over trying to identify the genus and species, if possible, for these organisms. So it's not just scientists here on the ship. There's only two of us, and we have, you know, a specific field of expertise. So we're counting on the people on shore to expand the knowledge base for what we're seeing in this phenomenal video.
Maximum zoom. Permission to zoom in.
So who are we looking at here, Shirley?
Permission.
This is another squat lobster, I believe. Was this a Munida? I just got a big list of the dive codes.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Yeah, sometimes, not always, sometimes crabs and
come up a bit
squat lobsters raise up their claws and threaten the vehicles.
Okay, so this is Munida. Diva Amon tells me this Munida is the genus name for this squat lobster. Again, there's some brittle stars in this area as well. Okay, anything else that we want to see in this area? So we are at 528 feet. We have, this is in total a 6-hour dive from launch to recovery. And so we need to get moving. We have over 500 meters to traverse. So we scientists like to, when we get down to the bottom, say, ooh, let's look at everything here. But we need to move on. So unless there's anything else in this area that you would like to see, the scientists from shore, we'll wait to hear if anyone wants to see anything else in particular that we saw from the wide-angle shots that we can zoom in on. Otherwise, we're going to ask the pilot to get us moving.
We're going to move along, right?
Right.
Yeehaw.
All right. So you ready to move along?
Shirley,
Roger that. Thank you, pilot.
Hi. When we were sort of moving around here, we passed over a relatively large pink colony. So if on your way out you see that again, let's try to get a zoom. That may be a Paragorgia colony.
Okay, I just got, thank you, Chris. Pilot, I just got a request.
Scott. Yes.
Scott. I just got a request to take a look at, Shirley, what was it?
A large pink coral colony. We see that as we're traversing.
Oh, just in
general?
general?
A large pink colony as we're traversing.
All right.
Something that we saw as we were coming in, so maybe as you're going out, you'll see it.
Okay. So we're moving roughly north enough. But I
Okay,
have to face
pilot,
west, so I'll
we
kinda
can
sidle.
begin to move along our transect to the next waypoint. And as we do that, as you lift up off of the bottom and we move along, let's just double check, because one of the scientists on shore saw a beautiful pink octocoral colony, and we'd like to take a closer look at that. So we'll be on the lookout for that as
Okay.
well.
Keep my eyes peeled. I think we want, I can move so that I'm north of Sirius and he's facing north, but I will keep myself aimed basically west so that I don't get blown away. So we'll kind of be like aimed.
For those of you on shore,
normally,
who
but,
the scientists
I'll be a little
on duty
sideways.
who are entering the names of organisms into the event log, Casey sent in as part of the event log
should we
chat a list of all of the codes.
I guess we don't want to go closer to
and
the
there's
crest. The
also
current will
on the
just be
event
worse.
log web link
Might stay a little more
to
sheltered, yeah.
get the codes as well, so you can have that run side by side if you want.
Yeah, why don't I try just hopping up until he's aimed 335, and I'm still facing the current.
So one of the challenges when
So
we're
yeah, just,
diving is to,
follow me with your
because the
camera,
night
Sean.
before,
Copy
actually
that,
weeks
pilot.
before, we plan out our transect, the dive plan, and we try to make sure that we can get from the planned start point to the planned end point. So we're able to document as well as we can the area that we've chosen to explore. Take a look at the camera from the Sirius that's showing an image of D2, or our ROV, and you can see all those white lines or sponges that are encrusting on those low rock ridges.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't work to be at all sideways to the current. Thought maybe I could thrust laterally.
We also have not yet imaged these fish on this expedition, so sometime today we'll need to image each one.
Alright, so my set point's at due north.
Looks like a different type of fish on the
And
upper
that about
right.
puts me at 330.
Okay.
For actual heading.
It's a white fish.
Okay.
Standby video.
Then we are ready to move when you guys are comfortable.
Yeah, it's crazy. Look at how much the tether is pulling.
Wow.
Sirius can't even keep its heading, but.
Yeah.
Never mind, I think it was a sponge.
Okay. All right, so yeah, so you can see I'm facing into the current and kind of able to hold here. Unfortunately, all the vortices coming off the rocks move me up and down a lot, which is awkward.
Yeah, pilot over to the right-hand side. I know you're underway, and it's kind of hard to stop. But it looks like if you see any more of those yellow fans that are currently
Like
to
right
the
in the
right,
center
moving
there?
towards the center, yeah, if you
we
could
can
zoom
get
in
that.
on that. And there may be a sponge as well.
Okay.
Yeah, pilot, I can't see
Yep.
on your starboard side, but you might
Yep,
have
that's it, where you got the lasers. That's
something
it.
to bump into.
Okay.
Co-pilot,
Oh, I'm
feel free
sorry.
to request to zoom at any time to help you.
Okay. Yeah, it's just on the opposite side of them. I just can't quite see through them.
Okay, video. Yellow fan in the center.
Okay, this is a beautiful octocoral.
Maxim.
Oh, and it looks like, is that an isopod on there? That little pink thing. Oh, and brittle stars. Mm-hmm.
It looks like an amphipod from here, Shirley.
Okay. Oh yeah, I see. It's laterally compressed. Okay, an amphipod.
Yeah, and my guess on the coral is probably it's an acanthogorgia, but maybe Scott or somebody else.
Yep, Scott just weighed in. He thinks acanthogorgia also.
Yeah, Chris, I was typing as you were calling.
Great minds.
Really holding this vehicle
Great minds
stable.
think alike.
What was that?
I gotta give you big props. As rough as the current is, you're holding the camera pretty stable.
Thank you. Well, 100% down.
So again, you can see if you take a look at the bottom and see how things are really getting blown around. This is the challenge that the ROV pilot is really dealing with, because these organisms are kind of adapted to live in these currents, but you've got that big D2 that the pilot's trying to keep still. Yep.
Right.
And so on the right-hand side, looks like just to the, like about the 4 o'clock position from the octocoral may be a tube sponge.
Yeah, pilot, you're hitting something on your starboard side.
Okay, it doesn't look like.
Boy, that fish is really being blown apart too. Yeah, Deb.
I think it's real shallow.
Yep, got it, Deb. We'll go ahead and look at that.
Could we zoom in on some of these platy rocks?
Yes. So, pilot, we've had a request after we're finished zooming. Oh, yeah, well, he can hear us from this too.
Would you like to zoom on?
Okay, pilot, after you've done this zoom in on the sponge, zoom in on that and have Roland get some images of that. Then we've also had a request to take a look at the platy rocks, those flat rocks.
I see them. All right.
Yeah, the platy rocks are the ones right above the squat lobster.
Oh, now that's really fibrous. That looks like it's the stalk of something.
And is there a commensal living inside of it? That the pink
looks like an anemone.
Anemone.
Yeah, it looks like a sea anemone. Yeah, it looks like a sea anemone and brittle stars that are living inside that. Scott, what do you think? Or Chris, what do you think that is? That does not look like. It looks like it's very fibrous, like a fibrous stalk.
The very top, you also have a barnacle.
Yeah, my guess is that it's stalk of a dead hexactinellid of some kind.
Could be. So the hexactinellids are glass sponges that occur in deeper water, and usually below 200 meters, and we've seen quite a few of them on leg 1. And what Chris Kelly is thinking is this might just be the remnants of a hexactinellid sponge, a glass sponge. Not sure. It's really, really fibrous.
Boy, I'll say, yep.
I'll tilt down to the base if you want.
And there's barnacle on the very tip?
on the very top, yeah.
Super good, maybe a shot of the whole thing.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay, Deb, we'll get to geology in a minute, but this is really cool. You got to admit that.
The heck is that? I don't know.
Scott,
could that be the base of an octocoral? I mean, it looks really. It doesn't look like the base of a sponge to me. Okay.
The plate-like rocks up there.
Yeah, pilot. Thank you. Particularly right above that
where
the squat lobster was. You know, where you can kind of see layering.
Yeah,
I think that's probably what Deb's interested in.
Yes, please.
Because I'm interested in it too.
So Deb Glickson called in and asked, requested to take a look at that. Deb was the geology science lead on the first leg of this mission.
Yeah, I'm just slowly pulling you back.
Bridge, RV nav.
Well, they're lining up for that rock shot. So surely I also have some question about whether it is a glass sponge or not. I can't think of very many that would have a stalk like that at these depths. So you may be right. It could be some type of coral, a dead coral stalk.
And it would have been really, really big based on the size of that stalk. It would have been pretty big, and so it could have been, you know, maybe even ripped off in these currents. Okay, what is that in the upper right?
There's an anemone.
What is that in the upper right?
The black guy?
Yep.
There's an anemone.
Yep, beautiful.
Right.
And there is
it's not that I'm
little...
getting too far ahead. It's that Cirrus is actually blowing backwards without the ship moving.
Wow.
Little hermit crab?
Can't tell.
Right, hanging on underneath the rock.
Yeah, I see that.
Max zoom.
Okay, I'll try to spin a little.
Okay, these rocks definitely are covered with a light coating of manganese oxide, which is real common on the seafloor.
Yep.
So it makes it kind of hard to tell exactly what these rocks are, but where there
and then I can tilt up
isn't
to the purple
any
anemone when you're ready.
manganese coating. So on sort of the brown surfaces, oh boy, it's hard to tell, but I'm seeing what I think might be vesicles. In other words, gas bubbles that form in lava as volcanic gases exhaled from the liquid portion of the magma.
Sirius,
and if
yes,
that's
is
true, then we do have some volcanic rocks outcropping here, but they look pretty old and altered, don't they? Don't you think so, Deb?
10 probably, right?
Ship time is 10.
Okay.
Oh, they're definitely crusty looking. I mean, it's hard to tell what they are.
Talk to the pilot. Okay, pilot, no, I think we're good. Roland, you're good with video?
Video's good.
Okay, yeah, pilot, we're good. We can go ahead and pick up and move along towards the next waypoint, but going slowly across the bottom.
All right. Sounds
So
good.
previously
Go wide video.
That was a 50 meter at 335.2, so we didn't do.
Yeah, let's keep it more like I don't know, 30s.
Pilot, can I snap in one more time to check something? Those look like exceptionally large barnacles on the right.
I can go ahead and call that in.
Oh yeah.
Now, if you're ready.
Okay, so can we go ahead and just zoom on the rocks?
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, pilot, can we just zoom in on the rock surface one more time, please?
Sure. All right, video, you can go in full.
One sec. Nav, what's the directions?
Max zoom?
335.
Okay, that's good. Thanks very much. We can go ahead and proceed now.
I think we might see some barnacles on the top right, so we're going to just take a snap on that to see if it's
Can we get a 30 meter move? 335 degrees.
Okay, roger that.
Knots.
So I copy 30 meters, 335 degrees, 0.2.
Good copy.
We are full wide video? Oh, okay.
So we're seeing
all right, pilot, we just
a lot of ophiuroids or brittle stars in the cracks and crevices of these rocks.
Not about 330, but there's a pretty good
we didn't really see them that much on that last zoom, but we have been seeing them in the crevices. So these areas, these rocky areas, especially because of their irregularity or what we call rugosity, offers a lot of substrate and habitat for organisms that are living at this depth, want to get out of the strong current, can move along and graze and eat off of the things that are growing on the rocks.
You can't tell on the rail cam how high that was.
Coming up. Okay, so here I am, pretty stable, 2 meters up, 90% ahead.
So another platy sponge over on the right. Again, this is a demo sponge, probably Pakistrellid or Poisolastra. Another larger one over to the right.
Yep, 80% ahead. Just giving a little burst to my starboard to move along.
Yeah.
Pretty funny way to move. You're aimed about the right way. Unfortunately, the current's so strong that you really can't get comfortable.
Yeah. I'm at 325.
For you folks at home, what we can see here in the lab on some of our screens is an image of the ROV itself as well as the Sirius. And running along the length of the vehicle, we can see a yellow line, which actually is the image of what is happening to the tether that's attaching these two vehicles. And on the last leg, I was watching from shore, and I did not see the tether waving about as much, wiggling about, you know, in a sinuous fashion above the ROV and the Sirius vehicles. So these currents are pretty tremendous. So the pilots are doing a fabulous job on being able to get us oriented and moving around down here.
You know, probably want to look at those layers on the top right after this.
Okay.
The science, we're just, so you saw a black section here. There may have been some broken rock off, so we're just going to take a quick image of this and see if this works for you guys to help identify the geology.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to zoom in on that black exposure, possibly, of some of the rocks. And if something is broken off, maybe our geology